Hey, what's happening, guys? Good morning, everybody. You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. Today is Friday, March 24th, 2023. The weekend is here. Hopefully, you guys got the weekend off. Got some fun plans. We're going to get to spend some time with family, friends, something like that. In today's video, we're going to be doing another rundown of the news, markets, crypto, different goings-on in the world. We're going to be talking about some business stories, the economy, real estate, just some anecdotal things I've noticed about shrinkflation, less people out at certain restaurants and stores, store closing, things along those lines. Before we get into it, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Spore. Spore sells mushroom growing kits that make it super easy for you to grow mushrooms at home. My favorite mushrooms to grow are lion's mane, but they also have pink oyster mushrooms, golden oyster mushrooms, reishi, all different types of mushrooms. Their kits are super easy to use. Literally just cut a hole in the box that your kit comes in, slice a hole in the bag, spray it with some water with the spray bottle they provide you with, and in just a couple of weeks you'll have lion's mane or pink oyster or various mushrooms growing out of there. They sell their kits on Amazon, so you can get free shipping if you are a Prime member. We'll link to their products here in the description box below, so be sure to check them out. Growing mushrooms can be a good, profitable side hustle to get into, selling them either at farmers markets or to local restaurants. And these kits are kind of a great way to dip your toes into the hobby. Also, if you just like mushrooms, enjoy mushrooms, it's kind of fun growing your own at home. So again, we'll link to them down below. Let's get into today's video. I'm gonna have to kind of move through this fairly quickly today. Let's kind of start with how markets finished up yesterday. So the Dow finished up 75 points. NASDAQ finished down 0.85%. S&P 500 finished up 0.3%. Keep in mind, right, we just recently had almost a run on the banks. We almost had a systematic banking collapse. Banks are sitting on hundreds of trillions of dollars in poison assets, worthless assets. There is an auto loan bubble going on. I mean, the banks are in big trouble. The markets are in big trouble. Inflation is proving to be stickier than we thought, but the markets are still going up. It makes absolutely no sense. We got Bitcoin back up over 28,000 at 28,150, Ethereum at 1808, and BNB currently sitting at 329. I actually pulled these numbers last night, so things may be a little bit different today. I got a shout out to an interesting YouTube channel. I believe it's called the Economist. It's the guy who does the videos. It kind of sounds like a white Morgan Freeman. He's got like this very deep, slow-talking, calming voice. But he kind of runs through different things about the real estate market, the car financing bubble, and he did a video today talking about store closings, and he focused a lot on Aldi. And Aldi was voted the number one retailer, the number one discount retailer, I think in the past 1, 2, maybe even 3 years. Aldi has become incredibly popular. Not only does Aldi have kind of a cult following among mom bloggers and YouTubers and cooks on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, Aldi has really kind of upped their game. They have a lot more unique cheeses, unique meats. They have a bakery now. I mean, they're no longer kind of like a shit discount grocer. They actually have really good snacks and really good foods. So they've gotten really popular. And also with inflation, we have a lot of people shopping down. A lot of people who maybe previously would have shopped at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's are kind of now shopping at Aldi to save money. But even Aldi is closing down stores. I believe they've closed down stores in Pittsburgh, Minneapolis, not dumpy cities, not bad cities, not bad states. They're actually shutting down stores in popular, nice cities, and then also some of their stores in kind of more troubled areas like the south and west side of Chicago. Those stores are closing, and the aldermen and people working with the city of Chicago are like, oh my gosh, why are you guys leaving? They're leaving because people are shoplifting, people are setting their stores on fire, people are burglarizing their stores, breaking into the stores, stealing, and then they want to act shocked when these stores want to move out of the area. And Chicago has a problem with food deserts. A food desert is an area where you don't have a place to get affordable, healthy groceries. And so a lot of these neighborhoods only have corner stores where you can only get processed foods and canned foods, and it's just not healthy. It's not good for the community. But you also can't blame these stores for not wanting to move into these areas that are unprofitable or that are going to bring them problems. And so the city, a lot of these cities need to kind of clean up their cities if they expect retailers of any kind, but especially a basic retailer like a grocer, to even want to be in their city. And I've noticed a couple of anecdotal things around me. This one really surprised me. So I was in a fairly nice Chicago suburb. I mean, it wasn't one of the elite suburbs. It wasn't Winnetka or Northbrook or Naperville or something like that, but I was in a pretty nice Chicago suburb. I had a headache the other day, and so I popped into a Walgreens. I just wanted to get a bottle of Advil. And I went to the pain reliever aisle, and every single Advil, even the generic or the Walgreens brands, Advil, Tylenol, whatever, they were all locked up behind plastic, and you had to go get an associate to come open it for you. And I thought, this just kind of sucks for everybody. You know, you have older people, a lot of older people or disabled people shop at Walgreens. And so imagine some little old lady goes into Walgreens. She has to walk all the way to the back of the store to look for the Advil, to realize they're locked up, to walk all the way back to the front of the store to get a cashier or an associate, if you even can, because there's normally like one person working in Walgreens and they might be ringing somebody up. And then they have to walk all the way back, have the thing opened up. It's just a huge pain in the butt. I actually just wound up leaving and just went and got a 2-pack of Advil at the gas station. But Walgreens locking up even generic Advil. Another kind of interesting thing I noticed, we have a popular fast food chain here in Chicago. I would say it's like a step above McDonald's in a lot of these. It's called Portillo's. You guys may or may not have heard of it. They actually got sold a couple years ago, and the quality and size of the food you get and things like that has gone down a little bit. But Portillo's is incredibly popular. Anytime you go to Portillo's, there's normally 20, 30 cars in the drive-thru. They have 2 lines going, and you don't order at a speaker like most fast food restaurants, because that would be too slow with the crowds that they get. So they will normally have 3, maybe even 4 employees out there, and one employee, you know, like they got 2 employees taking orders, and then they'll have another, 2 employees taking money, and they got little change belt and little credit card swipers, and they move people through there really efficiently. But I don't care what time of day it is, what day of the week it is. You go to Portillo's, there are lines up the butt. It normally takes about 15, sometimes even 20 minutes to get through the line and get your food at times. And I've there's one Portillo's that I drive by often when I go see a client, and I've noticed like 4 cars in the drive-thru, 6 cars in the drive-thru. I mean, that's pretty good if you're always able to keep 4 or 6 cars in a drive-thru for most restaurants. But for Portillo's, it's weird not to see a line like wrapped around the whole building or wrapped around the whole parking lot. What else did I note? Another thing I noticed, one of the same Portillo's I went to a few months back after one of my volleyball games. I went there with my volleyball team and a couple friends, and they had a security guard working at a Portillo's restaurant at like 8:30 at night on like a Thursday, and so I thought that was kind of odd as well. And I recently I stopped in at a Chipotle a couple times. I got one client I go see, and sometimes I'll bring Chipotle and bring some burritos or burrito bowls in. And I've noticed Chipotle used to have 2 to 3 people on the grill in the back. One person either making the bowls or steaming the burrito shells, another person putting like the meat and beans on, another person putting on like the sour cream and cheese, and another person ringing people up. And I've stopped in at a couple different Chipotles in the past few weeks. Not a ton of times, maybe 2-3 times, and every single time there's like 1 employee, 2 employees working. So I don't know if they're having trouble getting employees or not. I know a while back Chipotle had talked about hiring people for quote-unquote burrito season. I didn't even know there was a burrito season. Maybe they're having a hard time getting workers. Let's talk a little bit about layoffs. Accenture Professional Services. Companies laying off 19,000 workers worldwide. You know, that makes the Google, the Facebook, the Amazon layoffs look small. And, I know we kind of get desensitized to these numbers, but think about that. Think about how much stress it would put into your life if you lost your job, right? Like, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay the mortgage? I was kind of comfortable in my job. Now I got to find a new job. It's scary. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And for some people, it's devastating to their lifestyle. They may wind up losing their home. Maybe they got a kid that just went off to college, whatever it may be. And we kind of hear these numbers: 19,000 layoffs, 10,000 layoffs. This company laid off 500. This company laid off 180. This company laid off 50. Think about that: 19,000 layoffs. That's 19,000 people that are going to be going through all the stress of losing their job, and not just them. That's their wives, their kids. Maybe they got a sick family member they take care of, parents they take care of, grandparents they take care of. This is going to affect 20,000 employees, each have a husband or wife. That's 40,000. You got 4 people in a family. That's 80,000. I mean, this is potentially affecting like 100,000 people. It's kind of crazy when you really think about it. Chewy is closing down a production facility and firing workers. Is that a sign that people aren't buying, expensive, fancy dog food for their dogs? Is that a sign that maybe people are going to go to Target or Walmart and actually go into the store and get the dog food themselves, as opposed to kind of paying a premium for having it showing up at their door? Bed Bath & Beyond is beginning layoffs. NPR is canceling podcasts and laying off employees. As far as the tech company layoffs, I oftentimes do this in most of the day's videos. To date this year, 522 tech companies have laid off employees. Total number of employees laid off is 153,208 employees. Zero Hedge article, Walmart layoffs at fulfillment centers and e-commerce centers signals ominous sign for the economy. Now again, we've talked about, maybe people stop shopping at the more expensive retailers. Maybe people stop spending money on frivolous things, but everybody needs food. Everybody needs certain things from Walmart. Walmart, up until recently, had even more customer shopping there because, again, we talked about how people are shopping down. People are shopping at discount retailers. But even now, Walmart is shutting down fulfillment facilities. A Walmart spokesperson told Reuters that about 200 warehouse workers in Pedricktown, New Jersey, and hundreds of others at Fort Worth, Texas, Chino, California, Davenport, Florida, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania locations were asked to find new jobs before summer due to the need to reduce headcount. Walmart is a discount retailer, a popular retailer, and the only retailer in many small cities and towns. So this could be a sign of bigger problems to come. And again, also Aldi, the number one discount retailer, even they are closing down stores. It's not because they're not popular, it's because people have less money to spend on goods. People are having to buy less items. Let's talk a little bit about Coinbase. I would love if one of you guys could kind of chime in and kind of fill me and everybody else in on Coinbase. I've kind of only loosely been following the situation. Coinbase's stock dropped big the other day. Apparently they got a warning letter from the SEC, which is a letter that they send out prior to enforcement actions. It looks like Coinbase may wind up having to shut down the Coinbase wallet, as well as Coinbase Earn, and may wind up having to pay back the profits that they made through those programs. It's also come out that Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong and chief legal counsel sold millions worth of stock just prior to this becoming public. Almost assuredly insider trading, but again, nobody important ever gets in trouble for insider trading. Brian Armstrong went on to say that the SEC should decide on rules and make them clear. Currently, there's no rules or they're ambiguous, and the government seems to selectively decide which companies to go after for random things. Oftentimes I talk about how when a stock falls big based on like one news story, and I think it's kind of unjustified, I get in, there's an opportunity to kind of make a quick flip or make some money. I did pretty well with Coinbase previously when Coinbase was in the 40s. Did well when Meta, aka Facebook, dropped a lot. Let's see, I think yesterday Coinbase was trading as high as like a day ago. Coinbase was trading as high as, I want to say, even like $84, dropped to about $66. I was maybe starting to get tempted, but I kind of dug into the numbers a little bit, and it looks like Coinbase, their revenue has about halved, while their expenses have about doubled. So, I probably won't be interested in Coinbase till it goes sub $50. But even still, there's a lot of risk there with, again, revenue dropping, crypto winter potentially happening, us heading into a recession, and then also the regulatory risks. Crypto fugitive Do Kwon was arrested in Montenegro. Do Kwon, who was behind the $40 billion implosion of the Terra USD and Luna digital tokens last year, which sparked the initial leg of the crypto crash. That's kind of what wound up taking down Voyager and eventually FTX. That's kind of what made everything kind of unravel. He's been arrested in Montenegro, according to local authorities. And if you guys know anything more about that story, feel free to drop a comment down below. The SEC has also issued an investor alert regarding crypto, essentially saying it's a risky asset and there's lots of scams, so that investors should stay out, or at the very least beware. Definitely feels like there is an attack on crypto right now. Utah government signs a law which requires parental consent for minors to use social media. They also want to force social media companies to allow parents to access posts and messages on their children's account. And the law will also prohibit social media companies from displaying ads to minors, showing minor accounts in search results, collecting information about minors, targeting or suggesting content to minors, or knowingly integrating addictive technology into social media apps used by minors. They also impose curfews on the social media for minors, locking them out of their social media accounts between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. based on the location of a user's device. This kind of reminds me of what Louisiana and I think some other states are doing with porn sites, right? Like if you try to access a porn site from Louisiana and you're not accessing it from a VPN, you'll have to upload your ID to be able to access the site. Disney has begun their 7,000 job cuts. They lost over 2.4 million subscribers in February. And they don't mention what, if any, role kind of all this like diversity and inclusion and wokeness played in kind of the loss of subscribers, but Disney layoffs are beginning. Zero Hedge had an article, squatters are increasingly taking over homes across the U.S. with no end in sight. Experts warn amid an increase in reports of squatters taking over people's homes across the country. One expert warned that the phenomenon is on the rise and noted that removing squatters could take months. I thought this was kind of a crazy story. In the city of Chicago, only 6 out of every 100 Chicago black students can do math at grade level. Let's see, only 1 in 10 can read at grade level. And, it's not an issue of money. In the city of Chicago, they spend over $29,000 per year per student. And one thing that's kind of crazy to me, the teachers and administrators at a lot of these schools whine and complain that, you can't really expect more from us because a lot of these students come from broken homes and there's not enough parental involvement. And no matter what we do at school, unless you have a good home, unless you have parents teaching kids, unless you have parents helping kids do homework, we're not going to be able to get these kids test scores and grades up, and they're not going to be able to read and do math at grade level, which I think is true. I do think parents need to be involved in a kid's education. But then this really kind of conflicts when you see at other schools. Remember, was it last year, within the past few months, the Department of Justice was calling parents attending school board meetings domestic terrorists for taking issue with maybe some of the things that their kids were being taught or wanting to be involved in the process. And a lot of school districts are saying, we're not going to share lesson plans and what your kids are learning at school with parents because it's none of your business. So, in one token, we have schools and school administrators saying parents need to be more involved. And then on the other end of the spectrum, in schools where parents are involved, the Department of Justice calls them domestic terrorists, and the schools don't want to tell the parents what's going on in the schools. So kind of crazy there. Again, I only got time for a short video today, and it's somewhat of a short news day. So that's kind of the stories for today. As always, and if you guys see interesting stories, shoot me an email, RulesForRebels@gmail.com. Shoot over a story if there's something you want discussed or kind of want covered or you think is interesting. If you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel and would like to get these kind of daily update videos on the news, business news, economics, etc., click that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. Be sure to check out the sponsor of today's video, Spore, and their lion's mane and other mushroom growing kits. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Link in the description box below. That's all I got for you guys today. The weekend is here. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend, and I will catch you guys again on Monday. Later, guys. Peace.